and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail back to Boston. And so never more shall we see you again.
Welcome in Week 15, Season 3 of the Laces Out Fantasy Football Recap Show. It is the championship quarterfinal recap. We had 4 matchups, 4 winners, 4 losers, 2 upsets, 4 spots remain for 1 trophy. Let's get into it. All right, week in review. The average team score for the 8 playoff teams this week was 119.90. 6 of the 8 playoff teams beat projected total. 7 out of the 8 playoff teams scored over 100 points, and there were 2 upsets, 2 underdog wins in the 4 matchups this weekend. All right, let's get into the drama. Let's get into the quarterfinal recaps here. Up first, number 1 dog going in, Al's Dumpster Divers, taking on Dominic the Donkey, the number 8 seed. Final score, Dominic the Donkey putting up a season-high score of 160.15 to Al's Dumpster Divers, 46.46 points. Overall, obviously disappointing for Al's team. I feel for you, Al. Lowest score of the season. I think lowest score maybe in league history up to this point. Not the time you want to have that happen. For Dominic the Donkey, that is the 3rd highest score in our league's playoff history through 3 seasons. All-time record. Dominic the Donkey breaks the tie, leading the series 3-2. Top performers for Dominic the Donkey. Brock Purdy, 29 points. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 40 points. Playoff hero already. And George Kittle, a solid 20 points. Underperformers for Al's Dumpster Divers. Roma Dunze. This was a tricky one. Roma Dunze got ruled that he was going to play, and then literally, I think 5 minutes before kickoff, got ruled out. Al was not able to switch out Roma Dunze from his lineup. Eats the goose egg there. Trey Tucker, just tough matchup against the Eagles there. Didn't get any points, unfortunately, so it's hard to overcome two goose eggs when your opponent's putting up 160 points. And, of course, tough season for Breece Hall, putting up about 5 points. Hard first playoff debut for Al's Dumpster Divers, but I'm sure he will be back. As for Dominic the Donkey, great time to get hot. Coming in as the 8th seed, Dominic the Donkey probably, 3 or 4 weeks ago texted me, I'm gonna win out. I'm gonna win it all. So shout out to Dominic the Donkey, proving that out so far. Through the quarterfinals, we'll look to get into the semifinals and get a shot at the trophy and a championship. Up next, we had Dog Pound taking on last year's champ, Radical Rob. Final score, Dog Pound, 126.17 points to Radical Rob, 119.55 points. This was a close one. This was actually the second closest matchup in playoff history, only behind Radical Rob's 2024 championship win, which was by 4.14 points, over 2 in the pink. All the drama you'd want in a game for a team in Dog Pound that came in as an underdog, I think, in this matchup. Rob does lead the series all-time 3-1, but this was a big one. The first win for Angelo over Rob. Top performers for Dog Pound, Jared Goff, Travis Etienne, and A.J. Brown. Underperformers for Radical Rob's team, Joe Burrow, Ashton Genty, Deebo Samuel. Dog Pound leaned on a massive running back production this week to power him into the win. This is the first semifinal playoff appearance now for Dog Pound going into week 16. And this is also the first time that Radical Rob exits the playoffs in the first round. A lot of firsts this week. Well, I'll tell you where there wasn't a first, unfortunately. Molly Dangerfield taking on the Pack. Final score, the Pack 136.37 points to Molly Dangerfield's 113.9 points. All time, the Pack leads the series 6-0. So Molly really looking to move out of the first round of after making the playoffs 3 seasons in a row. Unfortunately, gets knocked out in the first round 3 seasons in a row. But overall, solid season from Molly Dangerfield. I love you. Top performers for the Pack: Matthew Stafford, Jamar Chase, Jason Myers, 24 points from a kicker. It's and I will say, Jason Myers, I was able to get off waivers a couple weeks ago, and those waiver wire guys, they're still coming through. Flops for Molly Dangerfield, underperformers: Michael Pittman, Matt Prater, and Kyle Monungai. The Pack advances to their first semifinal appearance in Laces Out playoff history, while Molly's short playoff run ends here in week 15. Last but not least, we have This Ain't Last Year #1 taking on Trevor's Locks. Final score: Lewis coming through with 143.35 points to secure his first playoff win in league history, defeating a very strong Trevor's Locks team. 112.25 points for Trevor's Locks, all-time record. Trevor's Locks leads the series 3-1, but that #1 is big because that was the first win for Lewis over Jax. Top performers for Lewis: Drake May, Bijan Robinson, Trey McBride. Underperformers for Trevor's Locks: Juwan Johnson, Tet McMillan in the Cowboys defense. I know Trevor's Locks lost Sam Laporta earlier in the season. Tough to lose a star player like that at tight end. Juwan Johnson was filling in pretty good for a while, but unfortunately didn't come through when you needed him the most. Isn't that always the story? Big statement win for Lewis going into his first playoff appearance. Undefeated in the playoffs so far for Lewis. Again, first semifinal appearance for This Ain't Last Year #1. And unfortunately for Trevor's Locks, gets knocked out of the playoffs in the first round for the second season in a row. But I'm sure the kid will be back. All right, let's look at the Week 15 quarterfinal awards. We have Beauty of the Week, Dominic the Donkey, 160.15 points. Also locking up the Large in the Margin award, 113.69 margin of victory. Man, some teams didn't even score 113 points this week. Dominic the Donkey capitalizes off of Al's Beast of the Week, 46.46 points. Cuff and Link Award goes to Dog Pound and also secures the Anxiety Award. So for Donkey, that is the third Beauty of the Week award on the season and the fifth Large in the Margin award. So Dominic the Donkey just blowing backs out. Al, that's the first Beast of the Week on the season. Tough time to have it, but boy, oh boy, you'd love to have that one back, I would imagine. And Dog Pound is the fourth league-leading, fourth Cuff and Link award on the season and third Anxiety award on the season. So just grinding out wins, pulling out upsets. Great job to all the award winners for this week. All right. Quick playoff preview here. We have 4 teams left. The Pack, Dominic the Donkey, Dog Pound, and This Ain't Last Year #1. Getting into the semifinal previews here. Dog Pound taking on This Ain't Last Year #1. And we have Dominic the Donkey taking on the Pack. Up first, Angelo taking on Lewis. So we have Dog Pound taking on This Ain't Last Year #1. All-time record, Dog Pound leads the series 3-1. so has the historical advantage. Dog Pound enters the semifinals riding momentum and really just has a team built to grind out wins when the score is tight and their opponent maybe doesn't quite show up or both teams start scoring a lot of points. Lewis's team this year is volatile, so can score a shit ton of points really quick. A lot of explosive upside with a really good roster construction, just kind of solid all around. So this is going to be a bit of consistency versus volatility for a chance to go to the championship, right? You're only one win away at this point. So the key question in this matchup, can Dog Pound limit the ceiling plays? We can't really limit what your other team's going to do, I guess, really. But will Lewis's team hit those ceilings? Or if they both hang around, does Dog Pound have enough to pull out that upset? What's at stake here? The winner advances to the Laces Out Championship, and the loser will drop to third place to play for a chance at third place. For perspective, the lowest score on the season for Dog Pound is 59 points. Max score on the season up to this point is 129. For Lewis, lowest score on the season, 85, so a pretty solid floor with a max score of 149. So, if you're looking at it again, volatility versus consistency should be a good one. And last but not least, we have Dominic the Donkey, the number 8 seed, taking on the number 4 seed in the pack. All-time record, Dominic the Donkey leads the series 2-1 after beating the pack earlier this season. The Donkey has just been going buck wild in the late part of the season, in the first part of the playoffs here, putting up a season-high 160 dominant performance, really showing they have what it takes to make a championship run. Meanwhile, the pack leans on a little more consistency, scoring high points throughout the season. Had a lull in the second half to start for sure. Has a lot of depth in the roster, though. Seems to be starting the right players, knock on wood, at the right time, which matters in these semifinal playoff spots. This is going to be a matchup between momentum versus pedigree. The Donkey brings confidence and raw scoring power, while the pack brings structure, discipline, and a history of showing up when it matters. So the key question to this matchup, does Dominic the Donkey keep rolling, or does the pack's playoff continue to compose themselves when it matters the most? What's at stake? Again, a championship berth, a chance for their first playoff championship appearance ever for either team. So this is big. And these are the two most awarded teams on the season with the highest scores overall. So in a way, it's poetic. It's meant to come down to this for a chance to play in the championship. For Dominic the Donkey, the lowest score on the season is 75 points. Their max score on the season just occurs in week 15 at 160. For the pack, lowest score on the season, 70 points. Max score on the season, 163. Two very evenly drawn out matchups here, based on really solid rosters and some really high scoring players, some really star talent on the teams. And both teams have had to cobble their lineups together to get there. Starting players off the waivers when it matters the most that fill those gaps. Again, a chance to play for it all. So tune in to week 16 to see who walks away with a chance to play for the trophy. All right, this is it. It's semifinals week. It's one more win to make it to the big dance for 4 teams. 4 teams go in, 2 teams leave. I love the Mighty Ducks, so that's the direction we're going here. And it's kind of fitting because I think 3 out of the 4 teams that have made it to the semifinals this week, it's their first appearance there. I think Dominic the Donkey's the only team who's been there before, and that was in 2023. So we have a fresh crew here. You have your Fulton, hopefully. You know, you have your Goldberg. You have your Emilio. Those are, you know, you have the core of your team. You know who's who. And you need your flying V. Whatever your flying V is, if you're one of the final 4 teams, now is the time to pull that fucker out, because it's not time to be a cake eater. It's time to be a champion. Ducks fly together. Go get that trophy. I'll see you in week 16.
We lost a few games. Tough. That was District 5. Now we're the Ducks. Yeah. And the Ducks are undefeated.
All right! Yeah!
Quack. Quack. Quack.
Quack. Quack.